The market of Shane the Market was alive with noise. Metal stalls rattled. Alien voices rose and fell like waves. The smell was a mix of hot oil, burning spice, and something rotten. Lights of every color flashed above. Traders shouted in a dozen languages, each one trying to be louder than the next dot. In the middle of this chaos stood a small metal cage. Inside it she stood, a human girl, her bare feet pressed against the cold floor. Her knees shook, not from cold, but from the hundreds of eyes watching her. She wore no clothes, only a thin collar around her neck. The collar hummed faintly, the way a predator hums before it strikes. The auctioneer, a tall green alien with 4 arms, raised his voice. Lot number 73, human female. Weak, soft skin. Poor eyesight. Almost no claws. The crowd laughed. A. Few leaned closer, eyes running over her like she was a strange insect. Others turned away, bored. She kept her head down. She didn't want to see their faces. She didn't want to see the way they looked at her, like she was already dead. The auctioneer continued. She is from the outer fringe, taken in a small raid, barely worth feeding. But perhaps someone will take her for parts. More laughter. Someone shouted, I'll give you 1 rusted blade. Another yelled, too much. Give her to the worms. Her chest tightened. She tried to keep her breathing slow. If she showed fear, they would enjoy it. She had learned that much. The auctioneer waved a long, thin arm. Silence. We start the bidding at 5 credits. No one spoke. He frowned. 3 credits? Still no one. The noise of the market seemed to grow louder around them. But here, in this small circle, there was only silence. The auctioneer's voice lost some of its power. 1 credit, then? Someone at the back muttered, not even worth that. The girl felt her stomach twist. She had thought being bought would be the worst thing that could happen. Now she understood there was something worse. To be left here unsold. Left for whatever the market did with things no one wanted. The auctioneer's tone turned sharp. 1 scrap of metal. 1 broken tool, anything? Still no answer. He let out a noise like a hiss and turned toward the guards. Fine. Take her to the disposal pens. Maybe the scavengers will. I'll take her. The voice cut through the air like a blade. Deep, calm, human. The crowd shifted. Heads turned. Even the auctioneer stopped mid-sentence. A man stepped forward. He was tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a dark coat that reached his knees. Dust clung to the edges of his boots. His face was shadowed by the brim of a wide hat. The auctioneer stared. You? A human? The man didn't answer. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a single silver coin. The metal caught the light and sent a sharp glint into the alien's eyes. He tossed it onto the auction table. 1 coin, the man said. The auctioneer blinked. She's not worth that much. Then you're making a profit. The alien's eyes narrowed. Around them, the crowd whispered. Humans were rare here. Most had been taken long ago, sold or killed in wars far from this place. To see one here was strange. To see one buying another human was stranger still. The auctioneer tapped the coin with a long claw. The sound was sharp in the air. Then, with a shrug, he took it. Fine. She's yours. Try not to regret it. The cage door opened with a hiss. She didn't move at first. Her legs felt like stone. Then the man stepped closer and held out a cloak, thick, heavy, brown with dust. Put it on, he said. His voice was not soft, but it wasn't cruel either. She took the cloak and wrapped it around herself, the fabric rough but warm. Walked through the crowd. The aliens moved aside, watching them with strange eyes. Some looked curious, some looked angry, and some Some looked like they were calculating prices in their heads. She wanted to ask him why. Why he had done this. Why spend a coin on someone everyone else had called worthless? But she stayed silent. The man didn't look at her. He didn't speak again. His steps were steady, as if he had already decided where they were going. Behind them, the market noise swallowed the moment. Ahead of them, the street curved into shadow. And in that shadow, she thought she saw someone watching. Not the man beside her, not a random alien. Someone else, someone who knew her. Asterisk the stranger's claim, the market was already behind them, but its noise still echoed in her ears. Every step away felt heavier, not lighter. The cloak scratched against her skin. Her bare feet slapped against the uneven stone path. The man didn't slow. She studied his back. The coat moved with his stride, and under it she could see the shape of something heavy, maybe a weapon. She glanced around. The streets were narrow, the light dim. Strange signs glowed in alien symbols. Creatures moved in the shadows, their eyes catching the light like knives. Finally, she spoke. Her voice was dry. Why? He didn't answer. Why did you buy me? She pressed. He stopped so suddenly, she almost walked into him. He turned his head just enough for her to see one eye, pale, sharp, the kind of eye that doesn't miss. Much. I didn't buy you, he said. His voice was low. I claimed you. She frowned. What's the difference? The difference, he said, is that buying something means you can throw it away when it's broken. Claiming something means you never let it go. A shiver ran through her. She couldn't tell if it was fear or something else. They moved again, turning into a darker alley. The smell here was worse. Oil, rust, and something that had been dead for a long time. She realized they were being followed. Small footsteps behind them. Too soft to be a large alien. Too many to be just one. Her voice dropped. Someone's there. I know, he said. He didn't turn. Didn't speed up. She glanced back. In the gloom, she caught a glimpse. Short figures, faces hidden under. Masks moving in and out of shadow like they belonged there. What do they want? She asked. He gave a humorless smile. You? Her stomach twisted. Why? They didn't want me in the market. They didn't want to buy you, he said. They wanted to take you. Before she could reply, the sound of metal scraping came from the front. The alley's exit was blocked. A tall figure stepped into view. Its skin was like wet stone, its eyes glowing faint red. The man finally moved his hand toward the thing under his coat. You're going to stay very still, he said to her. And no matter what happens, you don't run. Do you understand? She didn't understand at all. But she nodded. The masked figures behind them closed in. The red-eyed figure in front cracked its neck slowly, as if this was going to be fun. The man's voice was calm when he spoke again, calm in a way that made her pulse race. Good, he said. Now let's see if they regret following us. And with that, he moved. Asterisk the walk through the dark city. The alley exploded into motion. The red-eyed figure lunged first, its arms like slabs of stone. The man didn't step. Back, he stepped in. One punch, quick as lightning, landed in the alien's throat. A sound like breaking glass filled the air. The masked followers moved at once. Metal blades flashed in the dim light. The girl froze where she stood, the cloak heavy around her. She had seen fights before, but not like this. The man moved with no wasted motion. Every strike was perfect. One enemy down. 2, 3. The last tried to run. He caught them by the collar and slammed them into the wall hard, enough to leave a dent. The fight was over in seconds. The man's breathing hadn't even changed. He looked at her. Let's go. She didn't argue. They stepped over the bodies. The smell of burnt air hung around them. One of the masked attackers' weapons still smoked on the ground. They left the alley and entered the deeper part of the city. The streets here were different, narrower, darker. The signs were older, flickering with dying light. Above, tangled wires hung low like spider webs that no one here laughed. No one shouted prices. The few who walked these streets kept their heads down. The man's voice was quiet. "Keep your hood up. Don't talk. Don't stop." She did as told, but her mind was racing. Who was he? Why had those people wanted her? And how had he moved? Like that? Her eyes drifted to the shapes in the shadows. A tall alien with 3 arms watched them pass. A group of children, if they were children, sat on the curb, their eyes glowing faint green. One hissed softly as she walked by. They passed a stall selling weapons. The vendor, a short creature with a mouth full of sharp teeth, grinned at the man as if he knew him. The grin died when he looked at her. Finally, she spoke. "Are we safe now?" "No." The answer was so flat it made her chest tighten. They turned a corner and came to a building with no windows, only a single metal door. The man pressed his hand to a small black pad. The door slid open. Inside, the air was cooler, the light dim. A small table. 2 chairs. A black box in the corner, humming quietly. "Sit," he said. He poured water into a glass and pushed it toward her. "Drink." She drank. The water was cold, but it didn't wash away the questions in her head. When she set the glass down, he was watching her. "You want answers." She nodded. "You won't like them." Her fingers tightened on the cloak. "Tell me anyway." He leaned forward, his eyes locked on hers. "You're not here by accident. Someone out there wants you dead, and they will keep coming until they succeed." Her mouth went dry. "I don't know anyone here." His voice stayed calm, almost too calm. "You will, and they will know you." From his coat, he pulled a small device. It projected an image into the air, a woman in armor holding a strange weapon. Her eyes burned with purpose. The woman in the image was her dot, only older, stronger, dangerous. "This is you," he said. 10 years from now." She shook her head. "That's impossible." "It's not," he said. "And it's the reason they want you gone, before you ever become her." Asterisk. The room with no windows, the black box in the corner, kept humming. It was the only sound in the room, but it felt louder with every passing second. Like it was listening, not working. She couldn't stop staring at the image above the table. Her, older, stronger. Her face was the same, but the eyes were different, sharp, unshaken. A woman who had seen war. A woman who had survived. Finally, she looked at him. "How do you have this?" He didn't answer right away. He touched the black box with one finger. The humming stopped. "It's not safe to talk when it's on," he said. Her stomach tightened. "Why?" "Because it doesn't belong to me," he said. "And if I can't hear it, it means someone else can." He sat back in his chair, eyes on hers. "What I'm about to tell you, you don't repeat it to anyone. Not even me, unless I ask you." She almost laughed. "Not even you?" His expression didn't change. "If I asked you twice, it's because it's not really me." The words made her skin crawl. He continued. "The image is from a battle that hasn't happened yet. 10 years from now, you'll stand in the middle of a war that will decide who owns this galaxy. Every alien in that market knows it. That's why no one bid, because killing you now is easier than fighting you later." She shook her head. "That's insane." "No," he said, "that's war." She looked at the image again. "And you? Why are you here?" He leaned forward, lowering his voice until it was almost a whisper. "Because I've been to that war. I've seen what happens if you're not there. Entire worlds burn. Humanity is gone in less than a year. Her mouth went dry. You're saying I save humanity? His jaw tightened. No, I'm saying you keep it from disappearing. Saving it, that's someone else's job. Before she could speak, the light's flickered dot. It wasn't a normal flicker. It was like the light itself had been pulled out of the room for a second. A sound followed, low and wrong, like metal bending underwater. The man stood. They found use faster than I thought. Who? The black box turned itself back on. This time, the humming was deeper, almost alive. He grabbed her arm. We have 30 seconds? To do what? She asked, panic in her voice. To leave this room and never come back. The metal door groaned, as if something heavy pressed against it from the other side. A faint, burning smell filled the air. The man didn't look at the door. He looked at her, and for the first time since she'd met him, there was something almost like fear in his eyes. Listen to me. He sighed. Whatever comes through that door, don't look into its eyes. Not even for a second. The door's lock began to melt. Asterisk, the secret she didn't know. The lock sagged like wax in fire. A hiss of air escaped the gap, carrying a smell that made her stomach twist, burnt metal, and something sweet underneath, like rotting flowers. The man's grip on her arm tightened. Remember, he said, don't look into its eyes. The door fell inward. It didn't walk in. It slid. The thing's shape was wrong, too tall for the room, its shoulders brushing the ceiling, its limbs bending in ways they shouldn't. Its skin looked like liquid glass, shifting and sliding under the light, sometimes clear, sometimes showing flashes of something else. Claws, bones, faces. It didn't speak with a mouth. It spoke inside her head. You do not belong here. Her knees almost gave out. She wanted to run, but her body locked in place. The man stepped between them, pulling something from his coat, a black cylinder that pulsed faintly with blue light. You're early, he said to the thing. His tone was cold. That means you're scared. The glass-skinned creature tilted its head like it was studying him. Not of you, of her. She flinched. The voice wasn't just inside her head now. It was inside her memories, digging. Images flashed. A burning sky, her hands covered in blood, her own voice shouting commands to people she didn't know. She gasped and staggered back. What? What is this? The man didn't turn. A hunter, he said. Sent from the war I told you about. It doesn't just kill. It erases. If it touches you, there won't be a body. There won't be a memory you ever existed. The creature's form rippled, its surface flashing with a reflection of her older, armored, fierce. It spoke again, and this time its voice was all her own. I will not let you become me. Her blood ran cold. It's me, she whispered. No. The man said sharply, it's what's left of you. In a future where you lose. The thing stepped forward, and the blue light in the man's weapon flared. He pressed a switch, and a wall of shimmering air burst between them. The creature slammed into it, the room shaking from the impact. The man grabbed her again. We're leaving, now. They ran through a back door she hadn't noticed before. The hallway beyond was narrow, smelling of rust and damp. Behind them. The creature let out a sound that didn't belong in any living throat, and the blue barrier began to crack. As they reached the far end of the corridor. She finally found her voice. Tell me the truth. Why are you protecting me? They burst into open air. The man didn't slow. Because, he said, if you die now, I don't get to go home. Asterisk, the first attack. The street was alive with neon light, but none of it felt safe. They ran. Past glowing shop signs. Past strange creatures huddled in doorways. No one tried to stop them. No one wanted to be near whatever was chasing them. Air changed first. The smells of the city, oil, spice, damp metal, were swallowed by a cold, sharp scent, like ice on metal. She looked over her shoulder. The glass-skinned creature was there. Not walking, not running. Sliding forward like gravity didn't apply, the air bending around it as if the world was trying to avoid touching it. The man cursed under his breath. It cracked the barrier faster than I thought. It's not even moving, she started, but stopped. It was moving. The space between her and the creature was shrinking, but the creature's body stayed in the same spot. It was the street that was stretching, bending, folding to bring it closer. Don't look into its eyes. The man snapped. They turned into a side street, weaving through crates and metal debris. The man moved fast, as if he knew every turn. She tried to keep up, but her legs burned. A sound followed them, not footsteps, not breathing. A low, steady crackle, like ice spreading across glass. She risked another glance back. The creature had split. Two of it now, one coming from behind, one sliding down the wall ahead, defying gravity, its body twisting to fit the space. "How is it?" she gasped. "It's not real the way you are," he said. "It's a shadow of you from the future. It can be anywhere you might be. That's why we don't stop moving." The one in front dropped to the ground. Its face flickered between hers and the older version in armor. Every flicker made her chest tighten. The man pulled something from his coat, a flat, black disc. He pressed it to the wall of a building. It began to hum, the sound deep enough to make her teeth ache. He grabbed her shoulder. "When I say go, you run through that door. Don't think. Don't look. Don't stop." "There's no door," she started. The wall in front of them peeled open, folding like paper to reveal a dark space beyond. "Go!" he shouted. She dove through. The air on the other side was cold, the floor smooth metal. The moment she crossed, the wall slammed shut behind her. She turned, but he wasn't there yet. Through the last sliver of opening, she saw him facing both versions of the creature, the black cylinder glowing in his hand again. Then the gap sealed, and she was alone. The cold air pressed in. The dark space hummed softly, like a living thing. Somewhere in the shadows, a voice, not his, whispered her name. Asterisk, the ship and the truth. The dark space was alive. Not with movement, with memory. She could feel it pressing in on her. Not walls, not air. Time. Whispers curled around her ears. Some were in languages she didn't know. Some were in her own voice. Don't trust him. Run. Kill him before it's too late. Her chest tightened. "Stop!" she shouted into the dark. Whispers stopped. A light appeared ahead, a thin silver line. It widened, unfolding into a doorway. The man stood there. His coat was torn, a burn mark across one sleeve. "Move," he said. "We have seconds." She stumbled through. Now they were on a landing pad, the city far below, lights flickering. In the fog, a small ship hovered nearby, its engines glowing faint blue. The man ushered her toward it. "Inside. Now. What happened?" she asked. "They won't stop," he said. "They can't. You're the fixed point. They'll keep sending versions of themselves until one of them kills you." She climbed aboard. The ship's interior was cramped. 2 seats in the cockpit, barely enough room to stand behind them. The man slid into the pilot's chair, fingers moving over strange controls. "You wanted the truth," he said. "Here it is." The ship lifted off, the city, dropping away beneath them. "You're not from here," he continued. "Not from this planet, not even from this century. You were sent back without knowing it, buried in the wrong time, to grow up ordinary until the war needed you." Her pulse pounded in her ears. "That's insane. Look me in the eyes." And tell me you've never felt out of place, he cut in. That you've never had dreams you couldn't explain. Memories that weren't yours. She froze because she had. For as long as she could remember, the stars filled the cockpit window. The man didn't look at her. His eyes were on the vast black ahead. If you live, you change everything, he said. If you die now, I never get to go home. The ship's console began to beep sharply. She looked at the screen. A shape was following them. Not the city. Not another ship, it was her. Older, armored, face cold. Flying through space without a ship, without air. The man's knuckles tightened on the controls. She's not supposed to be here yet. The older version smiled, a slow, knowing smile. And then she spoke, her voice, cutting through the ship's comb like a blade. Step aside. You have no idea what she really becomes.